Hi, my name is Sarah Payton. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about all the books I read in the month of April with you guys. I've got my tea, I've got my candles going. I thought we could get really cozied up and talk about all the books that I read. I read 7 books in the month of April. 5 of them are right here physically. One of them was on my Kindle and then one of them was a library book. Okay, so the first book I wanted to talk with you guys about is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I really loved this book. I gave this 4.5 stars. This book is so beautifully written. Erin Morgenstern can really write a story. This story is about 2 young magicians. Celia and Marco are both raised from a very young age to learn and practice magic. They are in a competition with each other. It's stunning. The writing is beautiful. The atmosphere is just so rich. It just feels like you're on the pages with these characters. It's very slow paced, so if you don't like slower paced books, I don't recommend this one to you. But if you do like character driven, slower paced stories that take place over many years and in different places, it's following a circus that only arrives at night and you don't know when it's going to show up. It shows up in different parts around the world and people love the circus. They want to come and see the circus. They want to be in the presence of the circus. It's magical, it's whimsical, it's beautiful. And this book was just like, it was so good. The atmosphere, I don't know, like Erin Morgenstern can really write some atmosphere. It just feels like you're there with them. It's just absolutely stunning, and I cannot wait to read The Starless Sea by this author. I will definitely be reading more of her work. I gave this 4.5 stars. Absolutely beautiful. It's slow. It made my heart hurt in the end. I was just like wanting to know what was gonna happen, and I think you should go into this as blind as you can. I don't want to give away too much plot. I did not read the back of the book before reading this. I do not regret that at all. I think just how the story unfolded was just mesmerizing, and I am so happy that I finally read The Night Circus, the longest book I've probably had on my shelf, one of them. And I finally read it. I had been putting it off because it is a thick one. But it was so worth it, and I think if I read this in the fall or winter time, it would have been even better. So I do recommend you pick this up in the fall because it has that atmosphere that I think would just be so good in the fall time. So definitely pick this up if it sounds like something you're interested in. I really recommend. 4.5, maybe 5 stars once I look back on it because I just fell in love. It was so good. There were some slower parts, like I said, so if you don't like slower stories, know that going in. This is a slow story, but slow burn, the romance. I even loved the plot, and then in the end, my heart, I loved it. So definitely pick this up if it is something that interests you. So The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern was my first book of the month. The next book I read was Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This was my first Sarah Adams book, and it will not be my last. I absolutely loved this. I actually gave this 5 stars. I laughed out loud. I thought it was funny. This was the first romance, well, the first rom-com-y romance that I read this month, and so good. This was so good. It was so funny. It was about this girl named Annie and Will, and Annie is a florist and Will is a bodyguard. Okay, When in Rome is actually the first book in this little interconnected series. You can read them out of order. I did, but I do recommend maybe picking up When in Rome first so that you can get to know the characters, but I don't think it's going to affect your reading experience at all. I actually ate this up. I started it on audio. I do not recommend the audiobook. It's not the best. They kind of cringed me out a little bit ways in, and I ended up giving it up and switching to the physical copy, which was definitely the way to go. I loved it. It was so cute. I thought it was sweet. She's good girl and he's the bad boy bodyguard, and it's cheesy at times. It is, okay? But I just thought it was done really well, and Sarah Adams is known for very little spice in her books, and it was funny. They were fake dating. Annie thinks that she can't date anybody, so she starts fake dating Will, and you know what happens from there. He's kind of like teaching her how to date by going on little dates and teaching her how to act on dates and what to do. It was really cute, and there's also some heartfelt moments in it as well, and it was really sweet. So definitely recommend Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. I know a lot of people don't like this book, okay? A lot of people don't like this book, but I did. I liked this book, so I do recommend it. I think it's really cute. Give it a try, especially if it's your first Sarah Adams. I would recommend it as your first, so maybe you don't compare it to the others because people seem to not like this one, but I thought it was a 5-star. I thought it was really good. Maybe I was a little too gracious. Maybe I gave out my 5 stars too quick this month, but I thought, especially because I gave this 5 and I didn't give the Night Circus 5 stars, I don't know if that makes sense in my head, but it made sense in the moment. My heart said 5 in the moment, so I don't know. I gave it 5. I thought it was really, really good. This book that I read in the month of April was Feybound by Sarah El Arafi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but another really, really good book. This was solid. I had such a fun time in this fantasy. It is a new fantasy series. It's going to be a trilogy, I believe. So good. I absolutely loved it. It's about 2 sisters, Yirin and Lettel, and they are elves, and they are exiled from the elven lands, and they find themselves in the fairy court. The fae have not been seen for like a millennium, so they don't even know that they exist. They stumble across them, they get imprisoned in the fairy court, and it goes from there. And there is some romance in this book, okay? This was not a 5-star. It was not perfect. There was some romance in this book that I was not completely sold on. And a lot of people say that about this book, that the romance was kind of, I don't know. I enjoyed Yiren's romance, but I did not enjoy Lettel's romance. That's kind of where I was at. But there's 2 more books, I believe, so I'm gonna continue reading on because the plot so good, and the atmosphere in this book was really well done. I loved the world building. I thought it was 5-star potential because I was just invested. I had to know what happened next. It was very, like, to me, I kept wanting to turn the pages. I could not put this book down. I needed to know what happened. I needed something to resolve. I needed some answers. I had to know what was going to happen next, and I have to continue on. So I'm going to be reading the second book. I do love fae, and I love the Cruel Prince series, and this is adult. Cruel Prince is young adult. So I felt like this was a good step for me into the adult fantasy genre. I really, really loved this, and I do recommend you read it. I've heard a lot of people give this 4 stars, 3 and 4 stars, and a lot of people are saying the romance and a couple other things, but overall, I've heard some really good reviews on this one, so I also recommend this. I've had a really good reading month. I pretty much recommend everything that I read. So the next book that I read, I do not have physically here, but I did read a Ali Hazelwood stimulus novella. She has these little 3 novellas, and I read the first one a while back last year, 2 years ago. I did not like it very much. It was probably like a 3-star, maybe even lower. I don't remember much about it. I didn't enjoy it. The second one, I had a much better reading experience. I gave it 3.5 stars. It was good. It was cute. I would have read a longer version of it. I love how it had football in it, or soccer. They were like both soccer fans, and they kind of bonded over that. Reed really loves like football, soccer, and so he watches it, and I grew up playing soccer, and I just thought it was really cute. So they like get stuck in an elevator together, but they also have like a little bit of a history. It's a novella, so I can't really tell you that much about it. I do recommend it. It was a good time. It was fun, quick, short. It was like 100-something pages. I hate elevators, so like kind of made me a little bit uncomfortable while I was reading it. I was like, I hope this never happens to me. Ali Hazelwood is one of my favorite authors. I gave it 3.5. If you like Ali Hazelwood, I think you might enjoy this one, so give it a shot. The next book that I read, okay, I read Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings, and I was unsure, okay? I was unsure going in. I loved Magnolia Parks. I am a Magnolia and BJ girly, and if you don't know, Magnolia Parks, it's like Gossip Girl, but UK instead of New York. And it's very toxic, okay? Like, don't go into this thinking it is a romance because it is extremely toxic. But if it sounds like your type of thing, if you loved Gossip Girl, it's a really, really fun time, and I do recommend them. I loved Magnolia Parks. Magnolia Parks is about a girl named Magnolia, her toxic relationship with BJ, and there is another girl in that book named Daisy, and Christian is BJ's friend. So in the second book, Daisy Hates, you're following the same timeline, different POVs. So you're kind of seeing some of the same scenes from like different POV, and I thought that was kind of cool. She really wove it together seamlessly. I really enjoyed Daisy Hates. Daisy and Christian grew on me. They grew on me, okay? I think I am now a Daisy girly. I'm still a Magnolia girly, but I'm also a Daisy girly, okay? I am both. I am a girl's girl. I love it all, okay? And Christian grew on me too. I didn't really like him at first, but I loved them, okay? And Julian Hates, I get it. Girls, I get it, okay? I get it. I get it. I get it, okay? And I'm gonna read them all, okay? I'm gonna read them all, and I can't be stopped. I have the third one coming, so it should be here soon, and I will probably start it when I get it, or soon after I get it. And that would be Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home is the next one. Oh, Daisy, I didn't even explain. Daisy is like her brother, Julian. They like steal art, and it's very dramatic. And I was just listening to the Tortured Poets department while I was reading this, and it fit so well. How did it end? By the end of this book, I was an emotional wreck. I was on the edge of my seat. I was screaming, crying, throwing up. So much going on. Some people say it's dramatic, some people say it's crazy, some people say it's toxic. I don't care. I ate it up. I needed more, and I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna continue reading these, and I don't know what's gonna become of me. I don't know, but it's literally all toxic. It's all toxic. I can't even explain the plot because it's wild, okay? You just got to experience it for yourself. Some people hate these books, some people love these books. You're kind of one or the other, and I'm kind of leaning on the loving, okay? I am, so sue me. Okay, so next, let's see what I read next. I don't know what I read next. Oh, my library book, okay. The 6th book that I read this month was Radio Silence by Alice Oseman, and oh my goodness, this book. Okay, Alice Oseman, I do recommend. I read all the Heartstopper books by Alice Oseman, loved them, 5 stars, 6 stars, so good. I read Loveless by Alice Oseman. I did not connect to that one very much, but I still enjoyed my experience. Now, Radio Silence. I definitely connected to this one a lot more. When I was in high school, I loved being on Tumblr, right? So this book is about a girl named, can I remember names? Frances and Alede. I don't know if it's Aled or Alede. Frances and Alede. We're just gonna say Alede. So Frances is a fan of Alede's little YouTube channel that he has, and he makes like this like fantasy sci-fi stories, and she really connects with them, really loves them, and the whole plot of it is that he doesn't want people to know that he is Radio Silence, so she kind of fangirls over him, and she ends up becoming friends with him, and it's just a really slow, sweet story about their friendship. It's very like a peek in the window of them hanging out, them working on art together, them just being friends in high school and like school stuff and getting into college. And he is older, so he goes off to school. They do a really good job of mental health representation and just talking about really hard topics, but making it relatable and also making them just really real characters. They feel real. I loved it. I thought it was so good. I am really happy that I read Radio Silence this month. Finally, I almost DNF'd it. I stuck with it, and by the end, it was just like making me want to cry. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say about it, but it was a beautiful story about friendship, and yeah, Radio Silence. I highly recommend it. I don't have too much more to say. So, okay, the last book that I read this month was Funny Story by Emily Henry. I made a whole reading vlog about this, so you've already kind of heard my thoughts if you have watched that. Daphne and Miles are recently single, and their exes are now dating each other. She needs somewhere to live, so she moves in with Miles, and their friendship begins from there. They really connect. They are the cutest friends. I think that's also what sold me so fast, is their friendship was just so good. She writes characters just like real people, and they're flawed, but they're funny. Emily Henry is so witty and funny, and some of the stuff in here, like some of the jokes in here, I can't lie, weren't funny. There were a couple things in here that I was like, I don't think that's really funny, but like I know it's trying to be funny, but most of it was funny, okay? Like I was laughing out loud while reading this. So if you want a rom-com, this has it. And then it also has like emotional stuff. Emily Henry's books always have emotional things to them. I think she does a really good job of balancing it, and this one definitely was on the rom-com side. So definitely pick this up if you like Emily Henry's books. So the plot is where they begin fake dating because their exes are now dating. So they get invited to their wedding, and yeah, so her ex, Peter, they called off their wedding, but then he like turned back around, is now engaged to his childhood best friend. You know, the one where he said like, don't worry about her, she's just my childhood best friend. Yeah, he left her for his childhood best friend. She's on the phone with him, Peter, and he's inviting her to his wedding, and she's like, yeah, I'll be there with my boyfriend, Miles. Yeah, which is your current fiance's ex. So yeah, but that's it. That's all of the fake dating. Like they don't keep it up with other people. They tell other people that they're not really dating, that it's fake, and people laugh about it. I love that about the fake dating. Kind of focus on their friendship, and then that blossoms, and then they start developing feelings, but they're very, very good at communicating. They're good at communicating. Good, she did so good. So definitely pick this up because it's fun, and I promise you will probably enjoy it too. So, okay, that is the 7 books that I read this month. I loved pretty much all of them. I don't have like anything bad to say about any of the books that I read this month. I'm very, very happy with everything that I read. But for now, I'll leave you with this. I can't wait to see what other books I read. I'll see you around later. And I don't really know how to wrap up my videos yet, so I don't really know what I'm doing. So I'm so sorry. This is awesome.